you very much, everyone.
Well done.
Next group. One more time, Kennedy. Okay, ready? Everyone ready? Ready, set, go.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team AA3. My name is Luke, and we formed the startup Opticuron. I'd like to introduce my team with Andrew, Anthony, Manthila, and Tarek. I'd like to begin by asking everyone to close their eyes for me. If we think about our CIE cohort, unfortunately, one of us currently or will suffer from glaucoma. So what does that mean exactly? That means if you fail to put in your eye drops, you'll be left feeling like you do right now, blind. So if everyone opens up their eyes for me again, I'd like anyone to raise their hands if they like the feeling of being blind. I don't see any hands. It means that no one wants to be blind, right? And now I ask everyone to look at the person on their left and on their right. Unfortunately, one of us will suffer from dry eye at one point in their life. Dry eye is a condition that causes serious discomfort and is going to require eye drops many times a day. This all seems pretty scary, right? So why aren't people complying with their medication? It seems pretty obvious, like, you think fear of a condition like this would be a pretty good motivator, but it doesn't seem that's the case. The initial challenge proposed to us was to design a prototype for elderly patients who physically struggle to administer eye drops. However, today, we actually like to tell a story through our own innovation consultant, Anna. Anna suffers an eye condition and struggles to find the motivation to administer her eye drops. She doesn't see the value and see her eye condition isn't improving. So our proposed solution will help people like Anna to comply and to see value in their eye health. I'll now pass you on to the rest of the team who'll tell you our story step by step and show you what our product can really do.
Thanks, Luke. In order to be able to properly help patients, we first need to figure out why aren't they helping themselves? Why are compliance rates so low? And what can we do to help? Looking at the whole situation, we figured there were three main parties involved with the eye drop process. You've got your optometrist, your pharmacist, and of course, your patients. We, as a team, interviewed around about 50 patients between the Australian College of Optometry and the ENGR Hospital, all of varying different eye drop skills, some who have been using eye drops daily for years. To understand the other side of the story, from the health experts, we interviewed 5 optometrists, both practicing professionals and experienced university lecturers, and 4 pharmacists who are experts in various different fields. And through those experts, we were able to gain invaluable viewpoints on the eye drop administration process. Through all these interviews, we gained vast amounts of data and insights to help us progress towards a solution, as I'll let Andrew know.
Thanks, Anthony. So as just mentioned, we tried to begin our interviews trying to understand how patients were struggling physically, in line with the initial challenge that Luke mentioned. However, we didn't observe any convincing data that patients were actually struggling physically. We felt there was something much larger at hand. So this led to our first pivot around week 6 to adjust our challenge statement, to develop a means by which patients are motivated and encouraged to comply with their eye drop medication. The main data we uncovered included, number 1, almost all optometrists and patients were unaware of existing aids, like CELIs shown here. Number 2, optometrists are very busy and don't have the time to see how a patient administers the eye drops, nor do they have the time to understand any existing conditions they may have. Number 3, our interviews with pharmacists confirmed that patients struggling physically only form a minor segment of the population. From this data, we drew several insights, including, number 1, patients who struggle physically often have a family member or carer to help them. Number 2, awareness of eye drop aids amongst the entire optometry sector is hugely lacking. Number 3, patients don't know the consequences of not applying their eye drops. And finally, our core insight relates to motivation. Many patients lack motivation to apply their eye drops, or they only use eye drops when they feel some physical discomfort. From our interviews, we feel this is the most significant issue our team can address and provide the most value for. Thus, unmotivated patients form our main customer segment.
Thanks, Andrew. So like Andrew said, our innovation challenge statement is to develop a means by which patients are motivated and encouraged to comply with the eye drop medication. From a Harvard University article we found about motivation for sticking to medicine schedules, the best way to get someone to do something is to give them a reason to do it. Currently, optometrists are so busy that they don't always have the time to explain to patients why the eye drop medication will actually help them maintain their eyesight. Now, the patient might follow their schedule because the optometrist told them to. This is called extrinsic motivation because it comes from an external source. But clearly, it doesn't work because a lot of patients don't apply the eye drops regularly. And no one likes being told what to do, right? Like even from an expert like an optometrist. But what does work is the other form of motivation, intrinsic motivation, which comes from within ourselves. If the patients could understand their eye condition and why the eye drop medication will actually help them, then they would want to take care of their eye health rather than being told to. And this is exactly what our solution does. We provide an education service called VizTrack, provided as an app and a website that mainly focuses on teaching patients about their eye condition. So its causes, symptoms, short and long-term effects, and why and how the eye drop medication will actually help them. Our primary goal is just to get the patients thinking about their eye health more. And we've seen this working already. Going back to the story about Anna, just having regular conversations with her about our project, just encourage her to think about her eye health more. And as a result, she has been sticking to her schedule successfully for the past few weeks. Through VizTrack, patients will finally have a reason, a purpose to take their eye health into their own hands. I'll now pass on to Tarek to talk about our value propositions.
Thank you, Manthila. So why do we think that VizTrack is a really want-to-buy solution? Starting with the patients, we provide the following value propositions. Personalized education on their eye conditions and available aids, along with instructions on how to install eye drops. Second, pre-filled eye drop schedule, and that is to minimize the touch points with the app. Third is the reduced mental effort through smart reminders that can fit the eye drop schedule in their busy life. And fourth, encouragement by showing them adherence charts and make them feel proud of their achievement. And fifth is feeling supported by engaging their family members on the app. But how are we going to get the pre-filled schedule in the app? First channel is the optometrist, and they would do that because we provide the following value propositions. First is improved clinical decisions through adherence data. They get to know what's really happening. Second is a seamless integration with existing clinic software. And third, which is an improved patient's eye condition. That is a noble value, but it also pays off financially. That's what we believe. And that is happening through the patients. As they get better, their visits to the clinic become less, allowing more time for more profitable activities like first-time consultations and eyeglass prescriptions. The second channel, the pharmacist, we generate value through increased sales of eye drops aids as more users become aware of their existence. And for Opticuron and our sponsor, the value is generated not as a single product. It's an opportunity. It's a platform that provides opportunity for sustainable value creation. As more users opt into the app, their data will provide unique insights that can guide the development of smart devices that address the needs of more challenged users. For example, we have from our user research, validation research, that there is an appetite for a smart wearable that is just a simple reminder. And similarly, for people who are challenged physically to squeeze the bottle, we can prove viable through the data that we can develop a motorized aid. Now I hand on to Anthony to talk us about the next step.
Thank you, Tarek. Whilst, as we've discussed, we have very high confidence in our solution in that it can both increase patient adherence and also work as a business. Although we can't be fully 100% certain that this will work until we really give it a proper, throw it into the deep end, give it a trial by fire. However, a recent education campaign that's been started by the Eye and Ear Hospital has really given us a lot of confidence that we're heading in the right direction in educating patients to improve their adherence. To further prepare our solution for going to market and improving adherence, we really would love the opportunity to test prototypes with various eyedrop users, various different segments, to make sure that we are in practice improving their adherence and not just in theory as we think it would. We'd also be excited to see in the future the possibility of interconnected devices with the VisTrack app software, as Tarek mentioned earlier. And we believe this process of prototyping, both through validation with customers and creating more products that we can interact with, is the best way forward in improving adherence and making our VisTrack application work. We're very excited to see where we can take this solution, both now and into the future. Thank you.
Who would like to ask the question?
Have you considered how, look at the large percentage of population that use eyedrops on, sort of assuming here that a lot of them are elderly, they struggle with technology and so forth. Consider how they may interact with an app. They don't know how to interact with an app.
So two things to that. One thing we found is that in a lot of those situations with the elderly, the vast portion of the time we found that they have access to someone else to help them through the entire process. Carers who maybe they don't even need the application, they have got someone who can just do it for them, or alternatively, carers can use the application or just family members to help them. We've also found that in changing world, especially coming out of the recent pandemic, technology usage in the elderly population is becoming a much higher percentage than it was, say, 3-4 years ago. We believe that in a couple of years' time, this software will be able to help pretty much the entire population, including the Asian population.
Who did you say would set up the app, program the app? That be the optometrist?
The optometrist, that's one channel, and the pharmacist. That's why we are, one of the value propositions is a seamless integration with the existing software. So there will be something like an extension through which they can send the information to the patient.
Do you have optometrists interested in trialing this with you?
Yes.
Can you say something about that?
The optometrists, they found the idea very helpful, especially the availability of adherence data, because they get to really understand what's going on, if it's a medication issue, if it's an adherence issue. And they express their willingness to adopt the solution if they have budget for it.
Last question.
Does
Does anyone have a last question? Or they magically cut us off? What's the interest?
Any vision board down track?
I know, I'm going to sign into Google Drive and I'm going to just. Right. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so. Yeah, so now, what Philip's team is going to pitch from that end of the room. So if they go down there, they can have a microphone, and Claire and I will do the slides on the machine. So